What's going on, y'all? Is Coach Luna here. We're about to get set up. We're going to be making a recipe inspired by the Real Food RDs, making some pork chops, honey mustard pork chops, some potatoes, and some asparagus.
Yeah.
At the same time, we're going to also be prepping some more stuff to get us through the week, like some stuffed chicken. All right, y'all. So give us just a second. Right, yeah. So super quickly, what you're going to be needing for this recipe is definitely going to be your pork chops. We're using the HEB fresh boneless pork chops right here. It's actually the center loin. We have some nice, lovely asparagus. Can't have a meal without some nice hearty greens, y'all. And of course, we're going to have our carbs. So if you're looking in terms of macros, hey, our protein's coming from protein and fats coming from right here, the pork. We have definitely some carbs, some green vegetables right here. And then of course, the classic old potatoes. So what we're gonna be doing right here, y'all, is gonna preheat that oven to 400 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and do it right now. There we go, y'all. So we have it preheating, and Janelle's just going to be chopping up some of those vegetables. So again, one of those ways that I always tell kind of coach y'all on how we can speed up the process of meal prepping. Well, instead of trying to cook the entire potato just like so in the oven, we're going to be chopping it up so we can get it smaller and cook faster. Do you have any tips for chopping? Janelle is much better at the knife with better knife skills than I am. Yeah.
Really what I like to do to try to get good evenly sized potatoes is just think about cutting in half if you can. So a larger potato, the big sack, it's probably like $5 for 10 pounds of potatoes. But if you're in a time crunch and you're like, I don't want to take the extra time to like really look into the size of the potatoes, you just want it quick, I suggest getting the smaller bag. It's about 5 pounds and the potatoes are smaller. They're the little baby potatoes. And so those are a lot easier to cut. But I've gotten to the point where I've been cutting so many potatoes, I got it on point. And you want to get it about, what would you say? Like
a thumb width apart,
a
thumb thickness, y'all, a thumb thickness. I use my hands to kind of dictate that. And it's probably like an inch, probably a quarter inch. It's definitely like an inch. I don't know. I'm going to pull out a measuring tape. It's probably an inch.
It's probably like definitely the good size of your thumb. And that's just in general to try to get a nice chunky bit of potato. So not too big, not too small, but that, like I said, you get the bag of the baby potatoes. That's awesome too. It'll be a lot quicker to get everything prepped up. You just cut those babies in half and you're ready to go.
Yeah, so what I'm doing right here, y'all, since we're tag teaming this meal prep, is I'm just gonna go ahead and snapping my asparagus. It usually snaps right at where it's gonna be yummy and delicious. I don't know, sometimes if you've eaten some asparagus where it gets too stringy at the end or too mushy, that's because the asparagus wasn't a good one. It wasn't fresh or it was cooked too long. So that's what I'm doing right here. It's just using the bend and snap. Yeah, bend and snap version of this while she's chopping it up, y'all. And of course, talking about the honey mustard, y'all. The honey mustard is going to be a nice flavorful sauce that's going to keep it low calorie. Y'all, my hair is control.
That's mine. It's crazy right now. Y'all, I didn't tell Luna, but I also want half of the pork chop to be kind of like a barbecue inspired one. So we picked up actually this barbecue seasoning from Central Market, bulk seasoning, like we always mention, guys. That way you can try some different flavors. So 2, we're actually going to do the honey mustard style, super low cal, super tasty. but we're also going to try some barbecue flavors too.
Ooh, excellent. So a couple of the different sauces for the honey mustard, y'all. I like the honey mustard Bolt House. This, I like it for like my regular salads, and then also dipping, like, let's just say we make some air fryer chicken nuggets. Gonna go ahead and dip them in there. And then I top it off too at the top. It's just gonna be a little bit creamier. It does have 2 grams of fat in it, but that's okay. So here's one of them, and I'm gonna actually quickly grab the other sauce, the bone broth sauce that I put on the list.
I don't really like the bone broth. I think it's actually pretty new to HEB because I hadn't seen it before. And when I saw that, I was like, ooh, yeah, because even when I pick my broths that are already pre-made, I like to get the bone broth. It's just personal preference, but it's literally just a good soup that is just made from those bones. And it's extra tasty, has lots of nutrients in it. And if you look on those labels, y'all read the labels, you'll see that it's just bone broth.
Ooh, I was taking a little bit too much time. I could not find the actual honey mustard bone broth sauce, but I do have the Carolina style sauce. I think I've talked about these sauces. We used to go with the HEB style select ingredient sauce until we found the bone broth sauce. What is it, collection or selections? They were fantastic. So this is what I will be putting into or on top of the pork chop right here, is for in the oven, just a little bit of flavor. And of course, y'all, I always put in my Uncle Chris and Friends, y'all. Uncle Chris and Friends, you know what that is. It's gonna be nice, lovely Uncle Chris seasoning, paprika, garlic, and onion powder.
All the trifecta plus the main ingredient, that Uncle Chris, gotta hit it good. It's gonna be so tasty.
Yeah, so tasty, y'all. And then one of the reasons I was talking about, or definitely we're going to be focusing on sheet pan meals, is it's a great way to get all the vegetables and the different proteins that your family would like, not only you, but you and your family would enjoy, all together cooking at the same time. So while it's in the oven, you're doing some other, I was going to say some other nonsense. It is nonsense, but we're doing some other things to keep us on our healthy A game, y'all, building those systems. This is part of our system right here, is cooking, but also prepping while we cook.
Yeah, so it's just about multitasking. Remember, y'all, when you were making your resume, you're like, ooh, I'm a multitasker. Okay, this is that time to shine with the multitasking. And it's really all about just setting some things in place and learning the process, and it'll become easier and easier for sure.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we're talking about, multitasking. Hey, I know that we say, hey, meal prepping takes a lot of time. And sometimes it does, y'all. I get it. Sometimes it does. Also, though, I want to send me your stats. How much screen time have you spent on Netflix? Y'all, meal prepping is a great way to binge watch your Netflix shows. I'm serious. Like, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, we've got into the habit. I'm gonna see it. Oh no. Oh, excuse me, y'all. I swear it was just a little bit of the pepper that I inhaled. But anywho, we have gotten in the habit of watching some Jesus time and meal prepping. It's become one of our things that actually I definitely look forward to in the weekend. So, also side note on this, the garlic, y'all. I normally get the granulated garlic. Onion and garlic, right? The granulated. For some odd reason, it's okay. Guess what? Fine powder is really fine powder. It is not granulated. There is a difference.
Get the granulated. That's okay. So I'm going ahead and working on those potatoes. So I put 1 tablespoon of avocado oil and I measured that out. Threw that into potatoes. I'm going garlic, onion powder, and that Uncle Chris seasoning into the potatoes. So remember, potatoes are pretty bland. You need to season them well. Don't be afraid of the seasoning, but you can add a little bit at a time. Throw some on right now, mix it in the bowl, get it really well saturated before you throw it into the pan. And I'm going to go ahead and get this little barbecue guy and put it on this one over here so we can try out that seasoning. Always love trying out a new seasoning.
Actually, we both thoroughly enjoy these things, and that's why we thoroughly enjoy going to Essential Market to buy our groceries, because they have all those nice, lovely ingredients out there.
Yeah.
And normally we can spend a ton of money on
And a ton of time.
a ton of what was we're talking about? Oh, those ingredients, right? So part of those ways that we add a ton of flavor, y'all, is through our seasoning. We can add a ton of flavor with the powdered seasoning, not eliminating those sauces. It reduces the amount of calories and it increases the flavor, increases the fun and creativity that we're having in the kitchen. That's one of the things that we kind of wanted to stress, y'all, is like planning really does alleviate a lot of our stress throughout the week. Even me, that I just went back to school and starting to leave the house a little bit more, right, to go get that homework done. I'm finding out that I'm having a little bit more difficult time getting my meals or my macros balanced, hitting my calories, or staying within budget because I don't want the processed foods and whatnot. But what I have noticed, y'all, is when I do eat more of those processed foods, I don't know if y'all ever run into this, that I get like stay hungry because it's not a nutrient dense food. It's just junk, processed junk.
So you'll find yourself that you're hungry again, even if you've just eaten, let's say, a fritter or something random like that. You know what I mean?
Right. And we're talking about making multiple meals, y'all. So we have our pork on one side. I'm going to make some stuffed chicken breast. So I know we have some Munster cheese. I pulled it out. Why do I keep, I probably put it away. I think I put it away because I saw it on the counter. Maybe.
Somewhere.
Did you see it somewhere?
I'll grab it. I'll find it.
Okay, so we're gonna find that Munster cheese. We're gonna make some nice, lovely Munstered cheese stuffed chicken. Oh, I know where I did with them.
I see it.
I moved the pan. Yo, I swear this is not our first cooking show. You know this, right?
Actually, can I have that pan? Because so the potatoes are actually going to take the longest. You want to get the potatoes in first. So if you don't have a meal prep partner, that is okay. You're doing this by yourself. You know what? Enlisted your kids, your husband, your girlfriend, whoever. Have a friend come over and y'all meal prep together, and it'll be fun. It's a good time to get together, talk, catch up on things, and then you're getting yourself catch up for the week.
Heck yeah, y'all could even make yourselves a nice, awesome playlist, a dance party playlist. Yeah. It's gonna be a grand old time. We're gonna be actually going over to Andre's house this weekend. Super excited. We may or may not be doing some live videos over there, depending on the status of how everything is going. Oh, Janelle's asking me to move away. No worries. So a couple of things. Oh, I forget. Mexicans leave the pans in there. It's okay. I'm just gonna pick it up in the radio. Hey, so cheese, y'all. So we know that typically an ounce of cheese is typically about 110 calories. Here's a hack for the deli. Hey, if you ask for a 0.5, right? Ask for a 0.5, 2 slices of a square cheese, typically like a Munster or Swiss, will equal right about an ounce or slightly under. So there you go. Your slices at the deli can help you portion. So what I'm going to do is going to grab my nice, lovely Munster cheeses and about 4 to 5 of these nice, lovely asparagus right here. I'm going to go ahead and season them. Oh, thank you. Yeah. With some nice Uncle Chris. Boom. Uncle Chris at the top. Uncle Chris everywhere. Uncle Chris here, Uncle Chris there, here Chris, there Chris, everywhere Chris. There we go. And guys, you know how I feel about the seasoning. If you can't season it, you can't see it, you can't taste it. Don't be afraid to season. Minus the salt. Okay, so don't go heavy on the salt. So you can't take the sauce back. Salt, the only way you can cut salt is if you add tomato sauce. Boom.
Do we need a little spritzy?
Yeah, we can add a little spritzy. I need a little bit more Uncle Chris on this guy because I turned him upside down. Bam, there we go. Okay. So we got our 2 proteins going on right there. So this is what we're going to be doing. So it is Wednesday. Here is our pork chops, y'all. We have our chicken breast. These are 2 different size chicken breast for sure. So we'll probably do these. Will probably end up being like a snack. We'll probably split them half and half, make a smaller meal, like a 200 calorie meal versus like a 400 calorie meal out of these.
I don't know. Maybe I might have that 400 calorie meal.
Yeah. So, and then we could also put the asparagus on here, y'all. It'd be tasty to add these asparagus on here, because the added oils and the fats coming off from the meat is going to be fantastic tasting with that. So
this will probably take about 25 to 30 minutes. It just depends on the size of that cut of pork and your chicken. So What is a good way you would say to tell when your meat's ready?
Well, thermometer. First and foremost is the grab the thermometer. Second, y'all, is the squish test, y'all. So I know we kind of go like this. So if you make it okay simple, so right here, you can kind of add the pressure of how it's going to be. So on the outside pinky, if you just like it medium rare, hey, it's going to be right there. The more harder it is, y'all, it's going to be more cooked right there. So you give it a little love tap. And of course, you want to make sure that there's no blood gushing out of it, unless it's like that's what you want your beef at.
Not your chicken and not your pork. You want to make sure those are fully cooked. Those are white meats. So you can definitely tell when you don't have a lot.
Yeah, and the way you know they're like fully cooked, you keep them at a temperature of 165 for at least a solid 15 seconds right there.
Okay, so we're gonna clear this guy off. We're gonna move that over.
Sanitize.
Sanitize really quickly. Clear this guy off. Going to work on a couple other things.
Oh, bonus.
Yeah, so we got that sheet pan in, it's working. We're just gonna sanitize our table really quickly and then we're gonna move on. We are going to make some breakfast protein muffins. And I say breakfast protein muffins, but you can really have this anytime. But because it's gonna have a good amount of carbs in it, I would personally have it for a breakfast or maybe a mid-afternoon kind of snack situation. So these are really awesome. I'm sure you've heard of Kodiak cakes. Okay, this is a Kodiak cake brand. They make protein pancakes, waffles, protein balls, different options. But what we're gonna do is make these guys into muffins today. All right, so I have my couple of bananas that I've been holding on to just to make these protein muffins. The great thing about this recipe is you can do it with anything. So if you have some spare apples, blueberries, whatever you have, like don't be afraid to put it in a bowl and get it in there. And the great thing is there is a recipe right here on the box. You cannot mess this up. It is so easy. Okay, I got all my stuff ready. I have my little measuring containers here. I'm going to go with some almond milk. You can use regular milk or let's say you have no milk and nothing else in the fridge, but maybe some half and half, then let's use that. I'm not afraid to substitute some things in, okay? So I'm actually gonna go do muffins in the jumbo tin because this is, for me, it's gonna act as kind of like a breakfast or again, that mid-morning snack. And I like to have something a little bit hearty. So I'm looking to be around that 250, maybe 300 calorie mark for this type of thing. Because sometimes if your girl didn't prep breakfast, you need to have something substantial that's gonna get you through the day. All right, so let's get to work here. Let me open this guy up. So because we have the oven on anyway, that's why I'm taking the time just to go ahead and do another oven option. So I'm gonna go for our muffins. As actually a cinnamon option muffin on here, that's not what we're doing. We're doing bananas. So Luna can actually help me.
Yeah.
You can start by taking those bananas off the peel. We're gonna put them into the bowl and we're just gonna smash them up with a fork.
Yeah, y'all, I am not a baker. Definitely not a baker. So I am a fish out of water trying to learn how to bake.
This will be fun. So you put your 2 bananas in and then we'll just start smashing them. You'll have to get a fork from over there.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm gonna start by measuring out my liquids and then I'm gonna add in my protein mix here. So it calls for 2 cups of mix and 3/4 cup of water. You also put in some brown sugar, bananas, your eggs, of course. But like I said, we're gonna make this our own. So I'm gonna grab my chocolates in here.
I'm smashing.
While she's smashing. Okay.
Yeah, so one of the things that we were talking about is like meal prepping, right? So one of the easiest ways that we can control the calories or watch what we're controlling the calories, make sure that we're measuring accurately, is to keep it super simple. Is those 3 different ingredients, like you saw earlier, is those potatoes, the green beans, and the pork, or hey, we had the asparagus, chicken, and Munster, right? So keeping it pretty simple so we can have fun with 2 or 3 different recipes that we can add multiple ingredients and it won't cause such a headache for us to track the macros on our food. So I know a lot of us are getting used to tracking our macros for the first time, and a way that we can do that is to keep it simple, relatively simple for the majority of our meals, and then start experimenting 1 or 2 meals that we prepare at the same time, right? And part of those reasons, y'all, is why we bulk prep on Sundays, y'all, is when we bulk prep on Sundays, it takes care of the majority of our meal, our ingredients, like 80% of our ingredients for the week. So then we can have fun on those different recipes, or when we start getting tired of the food, play with those sauces, or like some protein muffins.
Yeah, we're mashing.
Is that good mash?
Almost. I'd mash it a little bit more. So again, this is where you get that help, some extra muscle to get this going. So your bananas are mashed up nice and well here. We're going to add in our egg whites. So you can use whole eggs, but again, I'm trying to up the protein with every single opportunity. So right here, these egg whites, you can do 1/4 of a cup, and that's 2 large egg whites. The recipe only calls for 1 whole egg, so I'm actually going to go 2 egg whites. We're going to push that guy in here. We're going to
Do I mix? Or?
Yeah, let's start mixing.
With bananas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to come together. She just sees the end product, but she doesn't, she's not familiar with this part of it. She just gets the reward at the end. So, and I've actually made this apple cinnamon version, super tasty. But today we're gonna do banana and dark chocolate chip, y'all. So fun fact about dark chocolate, it actually has a ton of antioxidants in it. And it's actually something you would want to choose over, let's say, a milk chocolate. So the reason for that is the other type of chocolate are gonna have more sugar into that chocolate. And this is more of raw cacao, which is what you want. You want the cacao, the raw cacao.
Not cocoa,
No,
not
no.
cocoa powder,
No,
because
no.
that has tons of sugar. That's basically
No.
like milk chocolate.
Yeah.
But cacao.
Cacao is really good. So that's a good option for you. And this guy, again, we picked up from Shelter Market, and I just got, what I needed. And this was only like $3, and I actually got way more. I've used this a couple of times, and it doesn't go bad. So that's awesome. So now let's get in our milk here. We are going to go for milk is.
She's looking at that milk recipe, y'all. So, hey, we're talking about, we just officially launched the Coach Luna Nutrition and Fitness Coaching app, y'all. So let us know. I loaded those meals up for this week, y'all, with a grocery list, so y'all could go ahead and meal prep with us. And then along the way, we'll be showing you how to substitute, or like, hey, what happens, crisis mode, we're pulling into Bill Miller's, pulling into Subway, Chick-fil-A, etc., how to navigate your meal plan with life circumstances. So I'm really excited to start having those conversations with y'all. Ooh, some cinnamon.
Yeah, we got to get some cinnamon in there. And the great thing, y'all, about this recipe, super easy. Tracking it on my Fitness Pal, and I'm making it actually into a recipe. So I know I'm going to have this more than once, and I don't have to continuously add this in. Add it into your Fitness Pal for a recipe one time, and then you can just always pull it up.
She's clearly made this recipe a couple of times because she's kind of eyeballing it here. Expert pro, I would not be able to do this.
Some doesn't make the cup, but that's okay. Because I know how many things to go in here. So the recipe on the back of the box, the problem with that is it doesn't give you the nutritional info. When you scan the box on my Fitness Pal, it's going to give you the dry content. So that actual serving size is 1/3 of a cup. So I'm making 6 muffins, but I'm only going to use 5 servings of this guy. And the reason for that is just because we're adding in the extra carbs with the bananas. And we don't need the whole 6 servings to make these 6 muffins. So for our chocolate chip, we're going to go in 1/4 cup. Let me measure this guy out.
So again, when y'all are making a recipe on my Fitness Pal, y'all are putting in the entire amount of ingredients. So she's just putting in 1/4 cup of the dark chocolate pieces, y'all. So if you think about it, 1/4 cup is going to go split into these 6 different muffin pans.
That is correct. last thing, I'm gonna go ahead and grab some pecans. I know we had one that was open, but I don't see it.
That's because I was snacking on them and I left them somewhere.
That's okay. So also again, I'm using the pecans. I'm gonna go ahead and measure this guy out. So let's see, looking at a serving size is a 1/4 cup. But again, a 1/4 cup is 1 serving, and that's gonna go between all of these guys. Oh, she found it after I opened it. Nice job. That's okay. So right here, I'm gonna make sure I get my 1/4 cup in, get those pecan pieces. Nice. All right. So we're gonna go mixy, mix, mix. And then the last thing you need to do is just give your pan a little bit of a spray. So if you pass that, thank you so much. It's the best helper.
Yay.
Okay, so the last thing you do need is to put in a little bit of brown sugar or melted butter. So here's the thing. I've tried it with using the sugar. I've tried it with using both. I've done several things, but I found that you really don't need it to add the extra sugar because it has a lot of sweetness already. So we're not going extra sugar, but the spray that I'm going to use is actually a ghee. So this is just an ultra clarified butter. Essentially, that's what this is. Now, I know Luna's talked about this plenty of times. The 0.25 second of a spray is 0 calories, but don't let that fool you, right?
Right. It just makes us feel better.
Yeah, so we're going to spray each guy. And then that's it. So that extra content that we need for the moisture for the muffins is going to be in the tin. So all we got to do now is just spread that evenly between our 6 guys here. And we're going to use our scoop instead of making a mess. And then that way, you know, you're portioning it them much more evenly. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1/4 scoop all the way around. And then I'll go back one more time just to make sure that we finish it off all the way through. I also have those paper liners. You can use that too, but for some reason, if you don't use the butter, I'll tell you now, it'll stick to the paper lining. So because I'm not using enough butter to make that fattiness stick apart from the bread to the paper, yeah, there's no barrier and it just sticks to the paper lining. So I found that if you're trying to cut some fat, which is what we're doing here, it's better just to use the spray and no paper liner.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So we're gonna check on what's going on in the oven. It still needs more time, but while this is going, we're gonna go ahead and get some other things prepped. We have some fruit that's ready to go. We have some yogurt. We're gonna cut up maybe some cucumbers, and we got some carrots. So we could just make like a little snack pack.
Yeah.
I picked up some hummus.
Oh, y'all, wait till you see this how brilliant my wife is, y'all. Okay, so brilliant. So y'all, snacking, we know that sometimes snacking can be one of my pitfalls, but I absolutely love hummus. And I know y'all have been hearing me say a lot of things about fat. I love my fats. I have nothing against fat. It's just an easy way to rack up a lot of calories. And a lot of the time it's not nutritious fat nutrient dense fat that we're consuming. It's mostly processed, icky fat that's going to sit in our systems for a while. But however, with these healthy, yummy fats, grandma's hummus, super clean, organic hummus, y'all absolutely love it. But we got these little portion cups because we meal prep already, y'all. And then, hey, it's already portioned out for us right there. We just reach into the refrigerator and grab it. This is just a few of the ways that we save ourselves time is when we're unloading all those groceries. Janelle just took that time to, when she was eating it for the first time, she went ahead and just portioned out the rest of it so we can have it ready to go.
And so that way you know what an actual serving is, because a lot of times when you just open up that container and you start dipping, you're just eating and you're not really mindful of how much you're consuming. But when you portion it out, you're like, oh wow, this is a portion. Okay, like, and then you can, go appropriately from there.
Right. So, and then a couple more tips, y'all, just before we close out the video. When we're looking at meal prepping in bulk, y'all, these are the meals that I know are going to be balanced. Just for instance, that what is in the kitchen or in the oven right now, I know are going to have pretty much an equal carb to protein ratio on that with a relatively low fat. And what I mean by that is, hey, sometimes we want to make sure, like a rule of thumb or just kind of in the broader perspective, y'all, especially for looking for specifically weight loss, is, hey, making sure that we have our fats half or more than half or more.
Yeah.
Let's just say, okay, if I have a 30% or 30 grams of protein, you want to make sure that your fats are at least 15 and below. Ideally, you want your fats to be around 10 to 12 when your fats are at a 30. That's kind of, in short, what I was trying to say. I couldn't get my English words out, but that's pretty much it, y'all. We're cooking off, the pork cooks at a higher temperature at this 400 degrees. So I'm going to be watching my chicken because I don't want it to dry out. My chicken is going to be probably pulled out in the next 6 minutes right here, cooking it off for a total of 20 minutes, y'all. And then the pork is going to stay a little bit longer for about 25 to 27 minutes. Yep. And that's pretty much all we have. How long are we cooking those protein muffins
So
for?
here's the deal. You can do this 2 ways. Like I mentioned, one, if you're going to have it as a kind of like a to-go meal, it's going to take a little bit longer, maybe about 40 to 45 minutes because they're the jumbo size. If you do the 12 pack of the regular cupcake tins, they won't take quite as long. You're looking about 30 to 35 minutes. And I believe it's at 350. So 350, you're doing 12 pack, 30 to 35 minutes, jumbo muffins, 40 to 45.
There we go, y'all. So in total, this probably took us about 45 minutes of total prep time. We're going to have at least 4 to 6 meals of this time that we're prepping, y'all. So there we go. Hopefully you had some guidance on what to prep, how to prep, and then how to maximize your time. Well, shoot it off, y'all. Make sure you're following trainer Ashley Luna on Facebook and CG with Luna on Instagram, y'all. Here we go, y'all. Coach Luna out.
Bye, everybody. Y'all have a good one. Oh, wait.
YouTube channel, Coach Luna YouTube channel, or you can just look it at CG with Luna, y'all. Bye. We also have a website, y'all. We probably need to get all this together. So go visit cgwithluna.com, y'all. You'll have all the information. The website will tell you about everything else. There we go, y'all.
There you go.
Bye.
Bye.